Thank you, Bhavna, and good morning, everyone, and welcome to all our panelists. We have a very diverse panel today, and this is the first session, so we'll try to make the best out of it. So the topic of today discussion is OOH and digital revolution, finding synergy. Over the years, we have witnessed fascinating evolution in OH media from static billboards to interactive digital displays. In this session, we will be exploring how traditional OOH advertising is evolving with digital technologies. So before we start the conversation, I would like to ask each one of you if you can share, one ad on the billboard that you saw in the last 6 months and you liked it, really liked it.
You want to start with me?
Yeah, I'll start with.
Am I audible? Yeah. So actually, I have two, and I'm just going to be very short about it. The first one is while on the way here, I think on the Western Express Highway, you have like this whole stretch taken over by Netflix and Hira Mandi. So not only impactful out of home, but also the small format, digital format that keeps evolving along with that whole frame of those two pillars. So that's really top of mind, guys, while I came here. But I think the most impactful one I've seen was probably 3 months ago at a Burger King in London, where near all the outlets, if you go there, there would be a hoarding and there would be the smell of a burger, like the grill smell. And the minute you're there, your phone just pops up. Whatever app you open, get yourself, a burger right now. I think that was really, really impactful. I don't know how many burgers I would have eaten just because of that. So yeah, but right now top of mind is Hira Mandi, the way they've taken up, and specifically for Netflix, the way they use out of home in this particular stretch is absolutely wonderful. But I wish they would do more with it, but it just is in your face, you can't ignore.
Arko?
Thanks. I think I absolutely agree. Even when I was coming down, that's one thing that came at the top of my mind, and I saw it. And obviously, the Sanjay Leela Bansali set and the color, obviously, it captures you, right? I don't have one specific billboard or outdoor in mind at this point of time, but what I can say is, what always captures me, I have this trip most of the times from Bombay to Pune, and you see the Jeep, outdoor, which is there, after the toll naka. I think that's something that stands out. I think, from a perspective of outdoor, I think every brand should look at, building something little innovative from a creative point of view, which stands out rather than just selecting the location and just having a standardized creative and skin for all locations. I think that then creates a more PRable kind of a story. I think that's what stands out for me. Not in the last 6 months. I think they have that slot for the last few years now. Yeah.
Anushri?
Yeah, so for me, I would say the Apple hoardings, they always stand out. The classical, that big size format with very, very real pictures, which makes me feel, hey, I could also take this picture. So I think a picture says 1,000 words and they do a fab job with that. Also the consistency of being present across those 10, 20 locations in Bombay or wherever in the world, I would say that's brilliant. So I love Apple. And one more example I have, which I really liked of late, the whole piece that Zomato was doing. So, they were defying the norms of outdoor, where ideally you're not supposed to have more than 5 words and there should be a picture. They said, we don't need any of that. We'll just have our red and we'll have like a really quirky caption which will make you think. And I think that campaign really stayed with me. Thank you.
Neeraj?
The campaign which I think is actually doing rounds and something that I noticed a couple of days back was something that Panchayat did. It's not conventional outdoor, Amazon Prime and Panchayat, where they went out to vegetable vendors and with food colors branded some vegetables with the show that's upcoming. I think that was attention grabbing, and I think what we grapple with, all of us, is as brand custodians or as marketing people, that can outdoor also create chatter, and this is something that stood out for me, and it was cheaper, and it had the virality built into it.
Okay. Vikas?
Well, I would have many of my favorite campaigns, but if I have to choose one, it has to be Apple, hands down, be it globally or in India, because of few things. Apple perhaps knows how to get value out of home. So if you were to look at from the media selection to having minimal copy on the billboard, great product shot, uncluttered visuals. So I think they know how to use out of home pretty well. So be it India or globally, hands down Apple. Otherwise, I can still name another 49, 50 campaigns that I love, but I would just stick to one.
Okay, great. Thank you. So coming back to the topic, I would start with, if you can share how has digital technology changed traditional OH advertising scenario, and what do you think? What are the key benefits? We'll start with you, Orko.
So obviously, it has been, on and off, you see digital hoardings coming up in India, right? But I think in the last couple of years, 3 years, we see this coming up even more, right? Uh, I think the relevance of digital OH is how you actually put your creative on the quality of or the quality of creative, how it comes out is very important. Now what happens today is obviously you have some digital inventory where you have 8 to 10 brands coming one after the other. So for me, I think you have to play around with it in terms of to get maximum impressions, how you make it more relevant. See, at the end of the day, if you're really using digital, use it for the medium rather than just, again, having the same creative. Because I see a lot of campaigns today having the same creative for non-digital vis-a-vis a digital, right? So it has to be medium specific. We have to treat digital a little differently. Use GIFs, use different formats on digital, obviously based on what is allowed on the medium, but use different ways of doing it, right? So it allows you creativity. That is the top of the mind, right? The second thing that it allows is obviously, you can actually upload a creative in 1 hour. So, when marketers actually and the agencies run helter-skelter to get their campaigns live, this is one medium where you don't need, somebody to, climb up and, put up a skin on a particular hoarding. So obviously it's very quick and you can actually track it as well, right? Programmatic helps you, in terms of where, who is present, tracking eyeballs, etc. That's the third thing that comes to my mind. So I think there's huge amount of advantage when it comes to digital. It's how you use it and how apt it is for that particular medium rather than just keeping it standardized is what will actually, determine what you're doing, right? The last point that I would want to mention is obviously we are last 1.5, 2 years, we've seen the anamorphic and 3D, etc., coming up really in a big way, right? I would suggest let's again think of the creative that you want to put on anamorphic rather than just, okay, I want an anamorphic to be a part of the plan first and then think of the creative, because it's very important because there are different brands, different products. And, for example, I am working with a bank, right? So the only product where you have a touch and feel is the card, a credit card or a debit card. I'm not selling a Ferrari car that I can show a car or a beautiful, bag or a shoe, right? So it becomes very difficult. How you make it more relevant, emotive is very important. So think from a creative point of view and then you select the medium is much more relevant. Obviously, you'll have that one thing that you want to do in a campaign that stands out, wins you award. I understand from a marketer's point of view. That's very important to be relevant in the market, right? Also, you use PR in addition to that, right? So I think start thinking creative and then you select the mediums is, I would suggest, what you should do.
Adhika, you would like to add something?
Yeah, of course. I'd like to add, but because I think Arko's spoken a lot about creative and how to handle it. What I think technology does for outdoor is very specifically addressing the challenges that the medium had, say, 20 years ago. It's a static medium. We always said that it is for impact. It's only for local presence and so on and so forth. Introducing technology in digital is helping you deliver ads in real time. It's helping you track. It's helping you measure. And maybe one day it will help you measure the uplift in the audiences that saw it. It helps you target. I mean, of course, we are at the starting point of tech where it is not so fully fledged as digital. But all these technological interventions within the outdoor medium will make it more measurable, also hopefully push us to plan more efficiently and use it appropriately for our brands. So I think technology in outdoor perspective, from an outdoor perspective, of course, can be used to enhance creativity, cut the, turnaround time. But the most important thing is it will help you measure, help you target, which is a challenge that this medium faced for the longest time. Because as marketers, you're like, एक बड़ा billboard लगा दो वहाँ पर, सब लोग देखेंगे. But the point is, what's the action out of it? Are people actually going to the store and buying it? Is someone scanning a QR code? Are you buying passes out of seeing an event ad over there? I think it is solving all of these problems, and it's a really good step in the direction of measurement.
Thank you. Anushri?
I think Atika and Arko have really taken my words and thoughts and put it out there. But for me, coming from the media industry, putting movies out there on hoardings or billboards, to me, it's the dynamic nature of the piece that's really made a difference. I mean, the moment I put a John Wick poster and, he's just standing or just shooting his gun to you versus it's on a digital billboard where he's actually shooting the gun, I feel that creative really, really makes a difference. And for me, whenever I went abroad back in the day and, I saw all those clean, large size outdoors, I just waited, when will it come to India? And I'm really, really happy that it's finally here. And of course, there's measurability, there's programmatic buying, you can do all of that. You can also select that for a brand like us who's really, really premium and, more of a metro phenomena currently, in that also we have pockets, so you can select where you want to be. I think it does a fab job and it really ticks all the marks in terms of ATL branding for us.
Neeraj?
Just to add to what everybody's point of views are, and they're absolutely spot on. For a cinema product, the cinema products are what we make usually. What outdoor solves for us is, it's a large imagery driver for us. Outdoor is the closest to us showcasing our imagery in the format that it's supposed to be consumed in the large screen, in a dark room kind of a setting. And what digital has done is it helps us do more. And it's cost effective. Definitely not my mic. Shall we go? All right. What digital signages have been allowing us to do now, as Atika rightly said, is measurability. Because that's one thing that we grapple with, right? I mean, imagery is one point. You keep plastering the world with it. And what outdoor also does for a product like ours is give us some serious deep penetration in the country. So there are places, especially for the kind of products that we have, which are consumed in towns which may or may not be viewing cable TV, which may or may not be viewing satellite TV, but there will be a cinema there. As ramshackle as it can get, and people would still be buying tickets and watching movies over there. Outdoor helps us reach out there in a manner which is unprecedented. We become the top film for a month, and that really makes a deeper impact into our business. As far as digital is concerned, yes, it's more expensive, as you would know, and and we wish it wasn't. But one interesting exercise that we had done in the past, and it kind of gave us middling sort of a result, was we just put one exclusive QR code for one billboard and see kya log actually scan karke karenge. And we actually put a ticketing offer on that, buy one get one free sort of a thing. Not very enthusiastic on the result, but if it's directionally correct. If we can create communication and if we can create attractive offers while you're stuck in a traffic jam, scan it now, it's a spot offer sort of a thing, might not be a bad idea. So these are the opportunities that digital signages or the merging of digital and static could bring into our lives.
Vikas? Before you speak on that, I would also like to know, Neeraj said it's also expensive. So just want to understand, when compared to effectiveness.
It's not expensive. You should know how to get value out of it.
Okay.
All good things come at a price. So does the digital. So you know how to get value out of it. So two things that I would want to do. One is answer what Neeraj said. I'll take up his offer. I'm happy to create a Super Bowl moment for Z Studios over here. And someday we shall do that. Definitely. Coming to what digital does vis-a-vis traditional out of home. So I would answer it with a lot of excitement and a little bit of pain. Excitement because it gives you agility. It allows you to engage people. Okay, but the pain is that we are not able to get value out of it. One is we can extend it or integrate it with social media or say mobile marketing. That is one bit. And second is we are still not able to make it engaging. So we need to create little experience for a consumer, and it doesn't have to be quite expensive. And I will give you an example. A financial company can advertise for investments during the day, and in the evening it can talk about the points that they would get when they are spending through their credit card. Okay, weekends they can advertise about the shopping, and the weekdays they can talk about the investments or the loan or other facilities. So I think there's a lot that can come to it without any additional cost to it. But like I said, getting value out of it is more important than just spending money.
Okay. Also, Atika mentioned about the challenges, so I would like to start with you. If you can, talk about what the main challenges faced when, traditional OH merged with the technology, digital technology. No, no, with digital, when it's merged. And like when it comes to, data privacy concerns.
I think we are a country which is not so much emphasizing upon compliances and regulations. So I don't think data privacy is still far a challenge to us. I mean, that's what even ARCOP would also agree that even though they follow all the compliances and regulations all across the globe, but in India they still have got little flexibility on it. In terms of integrating traditional out of home with digital, somewhere I haven't seen a classic case of both of them. We are still at a very nascent stage of trying to figure it out how to use digital. Currently, it is just able to address one challenge, which is out of home has always been an attention-seeking media. Now it is attention grabbing. So one challenge has already been crossed. But like I said, it's quite a nascent stage before we get on the integration part of it. So far, it hasn't happened. But perhaps as the media evolved, we should be able to somewhere figure it out. A better synergies wherein traditional out of home and digital out of home can complement each other better.
Neeraj, you would like to add?
Uh, I think I'll talk for the business that I do, and I think it'll be a better answer. We traditionally have been using outdoor as a reminder medium in the last mile burst. With newer tech and with the synergies that, the integration on social and digital that are available currently, and maybe it could probably be treated as a driver medium, maybe change the timeline of its existence within the campaign, and it might give us different results. And I think that's the problem and the challenge that I think we have currently as marketers, and I would like to look within to solve a problem rather than looking at the tech saying, the tech's not up for it, or maybe the regulations are stopping us, or maybe the data laws are stopping us, or policies are stopping us. If we are able to somehow think differently about outdoor as a medium, and then probably apply it, there might be better answers, might be more failures. I mean, I'm not denying that at all, but there might just be a better utility case or better use case, as we like to call it.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I think it was a lot to do with that mindset change even for the marketers, because you were back in the day used to having 100% SOV on a site, to suddenly moving to a digital outdoor where you know that you'll be in 2 minutes, maybe you'll get 20 seconds or whatever that programming is. So initially, I would say I think Cyber City in Delhi was pretty much the first to really have this. And all of us used to grapple with that, should I, why is it not cheaper then, If I'm only one of the brands out of many, why is it not cheaper? So I think it was more of a mindset change. I don't see any technological gaps yet. I like the fact that, your production is cheaper, or it's not as expensive. There's just a software upload that you have to do for the imagery or your MP4 files, etc. I like that about it. But that mental mapping that now, even in outdoor, I have to share space with multi other brands, and I cannot even get a category block, like, it would be Lionsgate, and after that, it could be literally my competition. Next, that's the mental mapping we had to do, but I think we are good now. We've sort of crossed that bridge.
So honestly, from a technology perspective for out-of-home, digital out-of-home, I see some challenges. One is a unified buying platform or a unified measurement platform, because everybody is coming up with different solutions. It's sooner or later going to become like the digital space in India, where you don't have a unique platform for measurement, buying or planning, and trackability becomes an issue then, because if you're buying the same, different inventory from different vendors or platforms that are providing you with it. For example, in Bombay, if I'm doing connected out of home with about 4 vendors, what's the absolute reach? How many times have I gone? Do I simply add up the impressions or the reach? I think that unified platform of buying, measurement, planning would be something that we should aim at instead of becoming too dispersed. The other thing that I think is with GDPR looming on us, maybe prep ourselves to plan without cookie information, because without cookie information, I'm not really sure how you're going to be able to target locations. I think these are the two things from my point of view that the digital out of home needs to ramp up to.
Arko?
I think they've covered most of it, so they've not left anything for me. But yeah, I just want to stress on a couple of small points. I think in addition to what they said, I feel one, we are still not there when it comes to measurement, right? Which they alluded to some extent. When we were shifting, we were talking about the digital revolution, shifting from traditional OH to digital OH. The first pitch was, okay, now you can measure. But I still don't see that happening. And still it's not, obviously it will take a lot of time to be 100%. We don't expect it to be 100% as marketers, as sellers or buyers in any sense. However, I still don't see even it is not even 40-50% there. So that's one thing I think needs to, we need to all put a thought together in terms of how we do that, how we track. There are measurement matrices, there are technological advancements which we have made, but it's still not there. That's one. And the second thing I feel is, again, just buying inventory on a particular digital medium which has 8-10 different brands coming up doesn't help. So from the production to the seller and the buyer needs to figure this piece out, how the brand benefits, because at the end of the day, brand is paying for it, and justifying it just by being present, and the numbers are again not trackable. So these are the two things I feel at this point of time we need to really move on.
Thank you, Arko. Atika, I would understand from you, if you can share, how has this digital transformation benefited your brand? And if you can share, any successful campaign.
Yeah. So for us, this digital transformations definitely helped. I can think of 2 examples. One, of course, we advertised Shivas Regal glassware. That's a genuine extension. And if people were to be aware of it, it is a premium brand. So we figured out through digital out-of-home vendors where this brand would make the most sense basis, the locality and stuff of the top 5 metros. We ended up, advertising over there with a QR code for an exclusive party invite. Like someone mentioned on this panel, it was not like we got 1,000 people registering for it, because that was not the numbers, but we did get sufficient interest. So that was a way of having a targeted campaign with a QR code. But the other one that I think we absolutely love is a campaign called Absolute Ally, which we did with one of our very close out-of-home partner. And we recreated the silhouette of the Absolute bottle, or the philosophy of the brand essentially at Bandstand, where people would actually walk through it in different colors. If you know, Absolute as a brand stands for inclusivity. It stands for the different colors of the rainbow, and it takes so much pride in being inclusive. That is what we did in the week of 14th of February, and it was the month of love. We did that. We invited performers from all over Bombay to come there perform, and this was being, captured live on our social media handles. This really worked so well for us that we were compelled to recreate one at the Sunburn, where people created videos of themselves performing on this tech-enabled screen, where the shadow of the person comes in different silhouettes of different colors, and it talks only about inclusive. No matter what dance form, no matter what you want to perform, this is your chance in your screen. And as a brand, we felt that it was not only the right place to engage with the audience, but also providing an equal platform for everyone. So that's something, and with just that, I'm not saying that the sales of Absolute mixers went through the roof, but we definitely had way more social mentions throughout our key period, which is the festive period on social media, other than any brand in that particular category. So we did see that very well. Also, we saw some brand KPIs of consideration moving up. So that's really worked well for us, both technology as well as targeting.
Orko,
Sure.
Yeah, I was just, I wish I was selling Shivas and Absolute, but which is not the case. We are into a very boring kind of an industry, which is
Sure.
banking.
Yeah.
Just wondering, see, at the end of the day, there are people there who are selling entertainment, movie stars, and
Yes.
you are selling, Absolute and Shivas,
Stuff
which is
that is better than
which
I
movie
didn't
stars.
know the
I
choices
was
we
I
all
was like
make,
feeling
but
like I
yeah.
have to now,
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I take on
No,
this
so
decision.
so the point is for us as a brand, and there are a lot of brands.
Sure.
Most of the products are need based.
Yes.
So on digital medium, how you actually showcase your product or service, it becomes more important for a brand like us to, I feel, be more emotive, show a lifestyle, show a kind of connect family,
I
rather
think
than a
it's
product.
important for everyone.
Yeah, yeah,
I
absolutely.
cannot not show a lifestyle and be
No, no,
anywhere. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But other than, like I said, other
Yeah,
than the
sure.
card, I don't have a product to show.
Yes.
It's only dreams and
Yes, yes.
So the point of what I'm trying to make here is I can't sell a home loan if the person is not wanting to buy a home, for example, right?
Yeah.
So that's the point. But so it becomes a little need based for me. So innovation and creativity, and whilst it's equally important for all the brands here, but I feel usage of the right medium again becomes very important, and how you use it. I always tell my team actually that I have been a jury for some of the awards, outdoor awards, etc., and I see great work. So when I challenge my team that you need to come out with clutter breaking campaign on different medium, etc., I don't see that. So I don't have that one example that I can speak of and say that, but I can quote one, which is we did at the airport, I think, which was a 4-sided pillar wall, and we did a campaign around lifestyle and 4 different phases of life. I think that came out really well. I don't know if anybody has seen it. That shows. I don't think anybody has. So, but yeah. So that came out really well. I
certainly
felt.
have.
But
Don't worry
yeah. Oh, great, great. Chalo. So I think that came out well, and that would be one example I would want to quote.
okay. Anushri and Neeraj, if you can quickly share your successful campaign and how the digital transformation, benefited your brand.
I think for us, considering the TG is extremely metro driven, what we've done is we've taken like a long-term commitment at airports, and we are ensuring that everybody who's departing out of Bombay or Delhi is getting to sort of see us. Also, in terms of affinity, that's when people are actually consuming the brand. So, when people are on a flight, we remind them, hey, download offline, watch this movie, etc. So just that placement, I feel, is really, really effective for us. In terms of innovation, of course, all of us have done a few of them. So back in the day when we were launching the brand, we did this, which was more traditional. We did this whole, lighting up the logo through the city. So we've done all of that. But I feel with digital, it's more difficult to get an innovation right. It was easier to do it with traditional because you could have jut outs, you could have, stuff like that. I've not seen too much of it on digital, but yeah, of course, we have a panel of marketers. I will wait to hear from them.
Neeraj?
One that I would consider, it was kind of a B-town, C-town sort of a campaign couple of years back, year and a half back. We had a film which we were promoting back then. The film was called Raksha Bandhan, and that the release was also tactically planned on a date which was closer to Raksha Bandhan. Wow, rocket science. But no, what we had done at that point in time was there was this understanding that people on those days, there's a lot of temple and visits to temples and relatives. So at that point in time, we'd put up in certain cities, outdoors, outside, in and around temples and places of worship for a film. And there were some comms on it which, encouraged people and sisters to saying, put up your wish and, we'll make sure your brother gives it to you, kind of a thing, or we'll be the brother and all of that. So that kind of worked in pockets. Again, it did not work nationwide. It probably worked in one small town in Gujarat, one place in Rajasthan, and all of that. But then these are good signs. I mean, if we do this consistently enough, these are signs for the future, and it's just that we have to be at it. So we don't let this one go of this kind of an arrangement or an alignment. Just keep at it.
I
Would
think
you like?
it's posed to the marketeers and the seller over here,
I
but I
know.
would still answer it for a couple of my brands. One campaign, so one thing that DOH does is the agility or say hyperlocal targeting, if I would say. So when we do a campaign for Air Asia, when we did a campaign for Asia, Air India Express, what we did is at different communication points, touch points, we had a different communication. So there are different communication within the airport, at the departure, and at the arrival. So this is one thing how we leveraged it. Second was for one of our clients, IDFC Bank, where we use the digital network, not the digital out of home, and at the VFS center every week we had a different communication for them. So this is how perhaps we leverage the basic utility value of DOH in the digital network, which is the hyper local targeting.
Okay, we are running like little late. We have less time, so I would, start with you. Like, if you can share, what are the some emerging trends and innovation that, in OH advertising that brands should be aware of, and how can they modify their approach, to remain competitive?
So one thing that we must have noticed over a period of time is that every time there's an integrated campaign, the believability in the campaign or the brand, it actually goes up, right? So we should focus on the integration part of it. Currently, what happens is out of home happens in silos, radio happens in silos, so does the television and print. Somewhere we need to focus on the integration part of it. How can out of home, small thing that you do on out of home, could be a content for digital amplification. So that is one thing that we should be focusing upon. And second is how can we integrate it with the mobile marketing or the social media. So these two things that is being practiced globally and we need to start back in India. So I would summarize it with only these one thing, which is the integration or the amplification part.
Any one of you would like to add on this?
So I think that the consumer is moving more towards multi-screen, and we need to move away from the traditional mindset of saying, oh, we plan TV first or digital first, then we add the second screen, then the third screen, then the fourth screen. Oh, by the way, let me just do outdoor also. I think that mindset needs to shift, honestly. We need to plan for a multi-screen consumer because we'll see more and more out of home becoming digitally enabled. So it will just be one of the other screens that your consumer is going to see you at. So that's the basic I think we all need to do. The other thing is, like for digital, we are planning today 3-second creatives or creatives where you get the consumer to notice you in the first 5 seconds. I think it will become more and more important as outdoor becomes digitally enabled, because you won't have the luxury of just one billboard where the consumer can just see you. It's going to be cluttered, brands are going to come. So my 2 bits would be plan for multi-screens, look at what specific role outdoor plays for you. In metros, it's a definite add-on to a digital CTV at an out-of-home. Don't know how relevant television is. In the boom towns, it is still relevant because people are still going out. But yes, modify your creatives, figure a way in which the communication best matches with the medium. Expect it to be more and more digitally pilferated. And the other thing is just focus on the measurement. How would you measure it in isolation?
Anushri.
I think the time is up, but I'll just mention one point. I think interactiveness is coming up in a big way when it comes to digital outdoor. I think we've seen examples outside India and in India also. I think there's a long way to go, but I think that's one thing that I can think of at this point of time. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. It was a very insightful session. I hope everyone liked it. Over to you, Bhavna.